Here are 20 things that I wish I knew in my early 20s. Number 1, if you act like fear doesn't exist, it goes away. Normal human nature is to avoid things that we're afraid of, but I found that when I face things I'm afraid of head on and pretend like I'm not afraid, then the fear subsides and I get to the point where I'm no longer afraid of whatever I was freaking out about before. Most of the time, fear is just in your head, and if you take action in spite of your fear will lose power and it will eventually go away. Number 2 is to control the flow of dopamine into your life because it will adversely affect your motivation levels. I found that it's really important for me to take intentional time away from dopamine-filled activities. The reality is dopamine addiction is real, and things like TV, video games, binge eating food, pornography, all of those things flood your brain with dopamine. Having those things flowing continually and unregulated into your life is going to wreck your motivation and keep you from doing the things that you want to do. Honestly, one of the worst things for this generation probably is our cell phones, just because they can be so addictive to just sit and scroll through. So if you struggle with that, setting a time limit on your phone or just locking your phone away for a few hours each day can help a lot. Number 3 is it's okay to incorporate your inspirations into your art. I used to feel kind of guilty about doing this, or I thought that it was wrong to try and emulate my favorite band when I was trying to write a song, but there's nothing wrong with doing this because just the very act of you recreating something, you're gonna bring your own artistic spin into it. Number 4 is whatever project you're thinking of starting, start it today. I found that I can be a master procrastinator, but you never learn faster than when you're actually just doing something. When you actually get started, that's when you start to build momentum and really hone your skills and get better. Perfectionism prevents progress. If you're waiting to get started until you're completely ready, you're never going to get started. Along with that, your ideas fade really quickly. So if you feel inspired to do something, don't spend so much time planning around it that you never actually take action and get started with it. Number 5 is that traveling the world doesn't solve your problems. I feel like a lot of times in media and in society, travel is pushed as this kind of solution to discover your true identity and figure your life out. Well, I went and traveled when I was 18, and when I was done, I didn't really have my life figured out. Don't count on travel to solve all your problems. You're still going to be the same person there and also when you get back, generally speaking. Ultimately, you still have to work on yourself if you want to improve. That applies both while you're at home and while you're traveling to a different country. Number 6 is to stop worrying so much about your hair and your clothes because it really doesn't matter that much in the long run. Most of the time, everyone is more concerned about the way that they look than the way that you look. So I found it's better just to dress the way that you want, the way that expresses yourself, or the clothes that you're the most comfortable in. Confidence comes from inside of you, and it's not based on the clothes that you're wearing, although that can help at times, but hopefully your confidence is deeper rooted than just the way that you look. Number 7 is that not posting on social media doesn't make you weird. I'm not a big one for posting on social media channels in my personal life, and I never have been. And for a while there, I thought that this made me kind of weird or different, but in reality, I just don't enjoy doing that. And I found that when I do try to post on social media, I feel like a lot of the times I'm just trying to impress other people, which I don't like. It's perfectly fine not to post on social media. In fact, it's really good for us to get in the habit of not comparing ourselves to other people. And so staying off social media altogether, if you feel like it, can be really beneficial for that. The highlight reels we see on social media aren't very reflective of real life. People just post the best parts of things, and so it is really easy to go down the rabbit hole of comparing yourself to others and thinking that they've got it all together, when the reality is nobody's got it all together. Number 8 is that passion-driven self-learning is much better than passionless, structured learning. Who would you rather have on your team? The person that is really passionate about something and spends all of their free time learning and reading about it, or the person who just went and got a degree in it, but maybe didn't really pay attention in class? If you truly care about your education, you need to pursue passion-driven self-learning, which means learning everything you can from every source you can. Whether you go to college or not, there's a lot you can learn about everything for free. However, if you do want to go to college, there's nothing wrong with that. Just make sure that you're passionate about what you're pursuing. The 9th thing I wish I knew earlier in my 20s is that clarity for your purpose comes from doing, not from speculation. Analysis paralysis is the fastest way to get nowhere. I find that when I get in somewhere and get hands-on, I figure out a better idea of what I actually want to do. Initially, it might look to other people like you're being flaky and like you're just jumping around a lot. But the reality is sometimes you don't know what you don't want to do until you actually start down a path and figure it out. It's a lot better to figure that out before putting money on the table for a degree, in my opinion. But however you can go out in life and get experience trying different things, seeing what you're naturally gifted at, the better. Number 10 is that I wish I'd known to talk to more old people. They actually know a lot, they've been through a lot, and there's a lot of wisdom to be gained from them. That's still something I want to do more of, is find people in my life that have more experience than me and just learning what I can from them. But that is something really good to do. If you do have people in your life like that you can talk to, definitely take the time to talk to them. The 11th thing I wish I knew is that you should hustle in seasons and not as a lifestyle, and that long-term success is dependent upon taking time to rest. When I first got started with my online business, I worked non-stop on it. Every morning I got up so early and worked so long on it. And honestly, I don't regret that time. I think it was necessary to get my business off the ground and get it to where it is today. However, that wasn't sustainable. And I did reach a point where I burned out and where I needed to take a step back and rest. It's important that even while you're working, that you make time for your relationships, you make time for your hobbies, and just for all the things that help you recharge. You want to balance that focused effort with intentional recovery time so that it's sustainable and you don't burn out. Number 12 is that working out makes you feel better. If you feel like you've ever struggled with depression in any capacity and you've never worked out, I highly encourage you to start working out and make a lifestyle out of it, because you simply feel better when you work out. It releases endorphins in your body that help regulate your mood, help you feel better all the time. Number 13 is that your thoughts are the biggest driver of your emotions. If you find that your emotions can be volatile, it's important to monitor your inner dialogue and think about, what kind of words are you letting go through your head? Your thoughts influence your feelings more than your circumstances even. So if you can start controlling your thoughts, thinking about good and positive things, flipping those negative things on their head, you'll find that you're a lot happier and that your life just seems to go a lot better. Whether it actually is or not, just because you'll have a positive outlook on the situation. Number 14 is I recommend getting an offline hobby. Scheduling time away from screens and away from work, maybe doing something outdoors. This is just good for me creatively. It helps recharge me and helps me, when I do go back to my work, have a refreshed mind and a refreshed outlook. Number 15 is that you did not learn financial literacy in high school. Now, even if you did take some kind of financial class, I do recommend studying financial things more after you leave high school. Things like budgeting, investing, taxes, how to manage a credit card, what credit is, how it can ruin your life if you let it get out of control. If at all possible, seek mentors who've been successful financially. Get their advice, get their input on things that you could be doing now to set yourself up financially for the future. Number 16, kind of along those lines, is that the sacrifices you make to have your own place are totally worth it. I know that it can be really convenient and tempting to live at home, and I did it for a long time too. I was over 18 and living at home for a period. However, there is a sense of freedom and independence that comes when you get out of the house. And even if you have to work longer or work a different job in order to be able to sustain yourself and be able to live on your own, I'd say it's totally worth it. There are tons of benefits to having your own space. Like, you can make it reflect your own personality, but ultimately the benefits of getting a place far outweigh the work and effort involved for getting one. Try to get your own place if you're able to. The 17th thing I wish I knew earlier in my 20s is that I should spend more time thinking. With these in our pockets, it can be really hard just to sit down and think sometimes. So setting aside some scheduled time, maybe every morning while you're having coffee or at night before you go to bed, taking time to think about those deeper questions like, what do you really want out of this life? What direction are you going in? What are you trying to do? Ultimately, that reflection and contemplation will enrich your life, and it will help add a deeper support structure if you actually have stronger motivations behind the things that you're doing with your life. Number 18 is that you'll likely never have more freedom and flexibility than you do right now, and so make the most of it. While you're young and unmarried, or you don't have a serious job that you're fully committed to, it's a great time to travel. It's a great time to explore the world and try new things. It's a fun and a unique season of life that you should enjoy and that I encourage you to take advantage of. Number 19 is that one of the most unadmirable qualities in people is selfishness. This is cross-cultural. No one likes it when people are selfish, and so it's important that you prioritize the needs of others and showing love to other people. We live in kind of a narcissistic society where it's all about yourself. Being intentional about not making it all about yourself, doing something for other people, giving back to other people, that will go a long way and help you live a happier life overall. Last but not least is number 20, which is ask the big questions, think about your existence and eternity, and what that means. For me, I've found freedom and peace in knowing Jesus as my Savior. I can't imagine how some people live their lives without not knowing what's gonna happen to them when they die. Like, that seems like a very serious thing that would deeply disturb me, and did disturb me before I came to faith in Jesus. I encourage you just to think about those things, seek out the truth. If you have questions about Christianity or my faith, feel free to share those with me or email them to me. I hope this video has been helpful for you, and I'll see you in the next one.